First contact, Earth's last hope. The vast expanse of space shimmered with countless stars, a backdrop for the sleek, silver vessel gliding silently through the cosmos. Inside, two beings stood before a holographic display, their luminescent skin casting an ethereal glow throughout the cockpit. "Zara, are you certain about these coordinates?" Lyra's voice was tinged with doubt as she studied the blue and green orb growing larger on their view screen. Her twin sister nodded, her bioluminescent freckles pulsing with excitement. "Positive. This is Earth, homeworld of the humans, our last hope." The sisters exchanged a look of mixed anticipation and trepidation. As members of the Celestial Concordat, an alliance of advanced alien races, they had been tasked with a monumental mission: to save their dying civilization by harnessing the legendary resilience of humanity. There was just one problem. "It's empty," Lyra murmured as they entered Earth's atmosphere. Where they had expected to find bustling cities and advanced technology, they saw only vast stretches of wilderness proclaiming abandoned urban sprawls. Zara frowned, her antenna twitching in confusion. Impossible. The databases couldn't have been wrong. Humans were supposed to be the key to reigniting the passion and creativity our people have lost. As their ship descended, skimming over lush forests and crystal-clear lakes, a faint signal caught their attention. Lyra's fingers danced over the controls, triangulating its source. "There," she said, pointing to a small clearing nestled between mountains. "It's weak, but it's definitely artificial." They landed in a meadow carpeted with wildflowers, the sweet scent of nature filling their ship as the airlock opened. Zara and Lyra stepped out, their iridescent eyes wide with wonder as they took in the vibrant colors and sounds of Earth's wilderness. "It's so alive," Zara whispered, reaching out to touch a delicate petal. In that moment, a twig snapped in the nearby tree line. The twins whirled around, hearts racing, as a figure emerged from the shadows. He was tall, muscular, with sun-kissed skin and wild, unkempt hair. His piercing green eyes studied them with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. "Well," the man said, his deep voice breaking the silence, "I guess I'm not the last human on Earth after all." Lyra stepped forward, her diplomatic training kicking in. "Greetings, human. I am Lyra, and this is my sister Zara. We come from the stars seeking." The man held up a hand, cutting her off. Yeah, aliens. Got it. Name's Max. Last guardian of humanity's legacy, or some bullshit like that." He gestured to a crude structure behind him, half hidden by the forest. "Welcome to the end of the world. Want a beer?" Zara and Lyra exchanged bewildered glances. This was not how they had envisioned first contact with humanity's last hope. Max led them to his home, a surprisingly sophisticated blend of primitive construction and salvaged technology. Solar panels glinted on the roof, while a small garden flourished nearby. Inside, the walls were lined with books, artifacts, and what appeared to be ancient computer equipment. "So," Max said, cracking open a bottle and taking a long swig, "what brings a couple of glow sticks like you to a humble apocalypse?" Zara bristled at the nickname, but Lyra placed a calming hand on her arm. "We seek the wisdom and resilience of humanity," Lyra explained. "Our civilization is dying, losing its passion and creativity. We hope to learn from your people, to reignite our own spark." Max barked out a laugh, harsh and bitter. "Hate to break it to you, Starshine, but you're a few centuries too late. Humanity checked out a long time ago." "What happened?" Zara asked, her curiosity overcoming her irritation. Max's expression darkened. "Progress, technology, virtual reality. One by one, people chose to plug into a perfect artificial world rather than face the mess they'd made of the real one." He gestured to the wilderness outside. "Nature's been healing ever since, but humanity, we're pretty much extinct." The twins' hearts sank. Their mission, the last hope for their people, seemed doomed before it had even begun. "But you're still here," Lyra pointed out. "Why didn't you join the others in their virtual paradise?" Max's eyes gleamed with a fierce pride. Someone had to stay behind. To remember. To keep the real world turning, just in case. He stood, pacing the room. I've spent my life learning everything I could. History, science, art, philosophy. I've explored every corner of this reborn earth, faced its dangers, reveled in its beauty. Zara leaned forward, intrigued despite herself. You've done all this alone? Why? Because that's what humans do, Max replied, his voice low and intense. We adapt. We survive. We never give up, even when the odds are impossible. He fixed the twins with a penetrating stare. You want to learn about humanity? Well, ladies, class is in session. Over the next few hours, Max regaled the alien twins with tales of human history. He spoke of great triumphs and terrible failures, of art that could move the soul and science that could reshape reality. With each story, each passionate explanation, Zara and Lyra felt a stirring within them, a spark of something long forgotten. As night fell, Max led them outside. The sky blazed with stars, more than the twins had ever seen from their light-polluted homeworld. Tomorrow, Max said, his voice soft in the darkness, I'll start showing you what it really means to be human. It won't be easy. It might even be dangerous. But if you're willing to learn, to really experience life the way we did. He trailed off, looking at the aliens with a mixture of challenge and hope. Zara and Lyra shared a look, an entire conversation passing between them in silence. Then, as one, they turned to Max and nodded. We're ready, Lyra said. Teach us, Zara added. Max grinned, a wild, adventurous smile that sent a thrill through the alien twins. All right then, lesson 1 starts at dawn. I hope you're ready for a real human breakfast. As they retired for the night, Zara and Lyra lay awake, their minds buzzing with the day's revelations. They had come seeking the collective wisdom of humanity, only to find a single remarkable individual. Could this lone human truly hold the key to saving their civilization? Little did they know, their arrival had set in motion events that would challenge everything they thought they knew, about humanity, about themselves, and about the true meaning of being alive. The adventure was just beginning, awakening the senses. The scent of something rich and unfamiliar roused Zara and Lyra from their sleep. Sunlight streamed through the windows of Max's cabin, painting the room in warm hues. The twins emerged, their bioluminescent skin dimmed in the morning light, to find Max hunched over a crackling fire outside. Morning starshines, Max called out, his voice gruff but tinged with amusement. Hope you're hungry. We've got a big day ahead. The aliens approached cautiously, their eyes widening at the array of colorful items spread before them. Max handed each of them a steaming mug filled with a dark liquid. Coffee, he explained. Lifeblood of human civilization, or what's left of it anyway. Lyra took a tentative sip and nearly choked. The bitter, complex flavor exploded across her tongue, sending a jolt through her system. Zara, watching her sister's reaction, sniffed her own mug suspiciously. Max chuckled. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. But trust me, you'll learn to love it. Now dig in. We've got fresh eggs from the chickens, berries from the forest, and bread I baked yesterday. As the twins sampled each item, their expressions ranged from shock to delight. The burst of a ripe berry, the creamy richness of the eggs, the satisfying chew of warm bread. Each new taste was a revelation. I've never experienced anything like this, Zara murmured, licking berry juice from her fingers. Our nutrient solutions are efficient, but this is living, Max finished for her. Humans figured out a long time ago that food isn't just fuel. It's pleasure, it's culture, it's a way to connect. Lyra nodded, her analytical mind whirring. The sensory input is remarkable. I can see how such experiences could stimulate neural pathways, perhaps even boost creativity and emotional responses. Max rolled his eyes, always with the science, huh? Sometimes you've got to stop thinking and just feel. He stood, brushing crumbs from his worn jeans. Speaking of which, time for your first real human adventure. Hope you're not afraid of heights." The next few hours were a blur of exhilaration and terror for the alien twins. Max led them on a challenging hike up a nearby mountain, teaching them to navigate the rocky terrain and identify useful plants along the way. At the summit, with the world spread out beneath them in a breathtaking panorama, Max unveiled the next part of his plan. "Paragliding," he announced, unpacking what looked to the twins like a large, flimsy piece of fabric. "Nothing makes you feel more alive than jumping off a perfectly good mountain." Zara and Lyra exchanged alarmed glances. "Is this safe?" Lyra ventured. Max's grin was wild and infectious. "Probably not. That's kind of the point." Despite their initial reservations, the twins found themselves strapped into tandem paragliders with Max, ready to launch into the open air. The moment of freefall was pure, heart-stopping terror, followed by an indescribable rush as the wind caught their wings. Soaring over the lush landscape, Zara felt a laugh bubble up from deep within her, a sound of pure, unbridled joy that she hadn't made since childhood. Beside her, Lyra's usual reserved demeanor had melted away, replaced by wide-eyed wonder. As they glided back to Earth, landing somewhat less gracefully than they had taken off, Max watched the twins with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. "That," he said softly, "is what it means to be truly alive." The rest of the day passed in a whirlwind of new experiences. Max taught them to swim in a crystal-clear lake, the cool water a shock to their systems. He showed them how to start a fire, the twins marveling at the primal satisfaction of creating warmth and light with their own hands. As evening fell, Max led them to a small clearing. "Time for a little culture," he announced, producing an old, battered guitar from a hidden cache. The first strums of music filled the air, and the twins felt it resonate within them on a level they had never experienced before. Max's voice, rough but full of emotion, sang of love and loss, of triumph and despair. Zara found herself swaying to the rhythm, while Lyra closed her eyes, lost in the melody. "Music," Max explained between songs, "is one of humanity's greatest achievements. It can express things that words alone never could. It can unite people, inspire revolutions, heal broken hearts." As the stars emerged overhead, Max taught the twins simple songs, laughing at their attempts to harmonize with their alien vocal cords. For the first time in longer than they could remember, Zara and Lyra felt truly connected to each other, to their surroundings, and to the strange, wonderful human who was opening their eyes to a new way of living. Later, as they sat around the campfire, Max grew serious. "Look," he said, poking at the embers with a stick, "I know you came here looking for some grand solution to save your people. But the truth is, there's no magic formula. What makes humans special, what made us special, was our ability to feel deeply, to create, to take risks, to connect with each other and the world around us." Zara nodded slowly. "I think I'm beginning to understand. Today, when we were flying, I felt something I can't even describe. It was like you were truly alive for the first time," Lyra finished, her voice soft with wonder. Max smiled, a hint of sadness in his eyes. "That's it exactly. Humanity lost sight of that somewhere along the way. We chose comfort and safety over the messy, painful, beautiful reality of living. Don't make the same mistake." As they retired for the night, exhausted but exhilarated, the twins found themselves grappling with new and unfamiliar emotions. Their mission, which had seemed so clear and logical before, now felt somehow inadequate in the face of what they were experiencing. Zara turned to her sister in the darkness. "Lyra," she whispered, "what if we're going about this all wrong? What if the solution isn't something we can simply learn and bring back?" Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know," she admitted finally. "But I think we need to keep going, to see where this leads us." As they drifted off to sleep, the sound of Max's guitar still echoing in their minds, neither twin realized that their journey was about to take an unexpected and dangerous turn. For in opening themselves up to the full spectrum of human experience, they were also making themselves vulnerable in ways they could never have anticipated. The real test of their newfound humanity was yet to come, challenges and triumphs. The next few days passed in a blur of new experiences and sensations for Zara and Lyra. Max seemed determined to cram centuries of human culture and adventure into every waking moment. They learned to cook over an open fire, their first attempts resulting in charred, inedible masses that nonetheless filled them with a strange sense of pride. They explored ancient ruins, Max's voice painting vivid pictures of the civilizations that had once thrived there. But it wasn't all gentle discovery. True to his word, Max introduced them to the harsher realities of life on Earth. Survival 101, Max announced one morning, leading them deep into the forest. Time to see how you handle a real challenge. He handed each of them a small backpack containing basic supplies, a knife, a water bottle, some rope, and a few other essentials. Your mission is to find your way back to the cavern, alone. Lyra's antenna twitched nervously. Alone, but we don't know these forests. What if we encountered danger? Max's expression was uncharacteristically serious. That's the point. Life isn't always safe. Humans thrived because we learned to adapt, to overcome. You've got the skills. Now you need to trust yourselves. With that, he disappeared into the underbrush, leaving the bewildered twins to fend for themselves. At first, panic set in. The forest, which had seemed so beautiful and welcoming before, now loomed ominously around them. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, and shadows played tricks on their eyes. Zara took a deep breath, forcing herself to focus. Okay, she said, more to calm herself than anything else. We can do this. Remember what Max taught us about navigation. Lyra nodded, her analytical mind kicking into gear. The sun. We can use its position to determine direction. Slowly, cautiously, they began to make their way through the wilderness. Hours passed, filled with wrong turns, minor injuries, and moments of frustration. But with each obstacle overcome, each fear faced, the twins felt a growing sense of confidence. As dusk approached, bringing with it new dangers, Zara and Lyra found themselves facing a raging river, swollen from recent rains. The cabin lay on the other side, tantalizingly close yet seemingly unreachable. We can't cross that, Lyra said, her voice tinged with defeat. It's too dangerous. Perhaps we should wait for Max to find us. But Zara's eyes gleamed with a newfound determination. No, she said firmly. We've come this far. We can do this. She began gathering fallen logs and vines, her mind racing with possibilities. Working together, using skills they never knew they possessed, the twins constructed a crude raft. It was far from perfect, but as they pushed off from the shore, clinging to each other and their creation, they felt a surge of exhilaration. The river churned around them, threatening to tear their raft apart at any moment. Zara and Lyra worked in perfect sync, using makeshift paddles to navigate the treacherous waters. At one heart-stopping moment, Lyra lost her grip and nearly fell into the rushing current. Zara's hand shot out, grabbing her sister and pulling her to safety with strength she didn't know she had. As they finally reached the opposite shore, soaked and exhausted but triumphant, they were met by a grinning Max. Not bad, Starshines, he said, helping them onto dry land. Not bad at all. That night, as they sat around the campfire, there was a new energy between them. The twins' bioluminescent skin glowed brighter than ever, pulsing with excitement and pride. I've never felt so alive, Zara admitted, examining a small cut on her hand with fascination rather than concern. Lyra nodded, her usual reserve replaced by a spark of adventure. It's strange. I've always relied on logic, on careful analysis. But today, when we were on that river, I just acted. I felt. Max listened, a knowing smile playing on his lips. That's the human experience in a nutshell. It's messy, it's scary, but it's real. You can't program passion or courage. You have to live it. As the days went on, Zara and Lyra found themselves changing in ways they couldn't have imagined. They began to anticipate challenges with excitement rather than fear. They laughed more freely, argued more passionately, and began to see the world around them with new eyes. One evening, as they watched a breathtaking sunset paint the sky in impossible colors, Laura turned to Max with a question that had been nagging at her. "Max," she began hesitantly, "you've shown us so much, taught us to embrace life in all its complexity. But why? Why did you choose to stay in this world when everyone else fled to virtual paradise?" Max was quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on the horizon. When he spoke, his voice was low and intense, because someone had to remember. Someone had to keep the real world turning, just in case. He turned to face them, his expression fierce. "Humanity achieved incredible things. We touched the stars, killed diseases, created beauty beyond imagination. But we also nearly destroyed ourselves and this planet. I stayed to learn from our mistakes, to keep the best parts of us alive." He gestured to the wilderness around them. "All of this, the beauty and the danger, the joy and the pain, it's what makes us who we are. A virtual world might be perfect, but it's not real. And without reality, without genuine struggle and triumph, we lose what makes us human." Zara and Lyra exchanged glances, a silent conversation passing between them. They had come to Earth seeking a solution to save their dying civilization. What they were finding instead was something far more profound, a new way of existing, of experiencing the universe. But as they basked in the glow of their newfound humanity, none of them realized that their time together was drawing to a close. Forces beyond their control were converging, and soon they would face a challenge that would test everything they had learned. The true meaning of being human, with all its strength, passion, and capacity for sacrifice, was about to reveal itself in ways none of them could have anticipated. Rediscovering passion. As weeks turned into months, Zara and Lyra found themselves transformed. Their once pristine appearance had given way to sun-kissed skin and calloused hands. They moved through the wilderness with confidence, their bodies adapting to Earth's gravity and challenges. But the most significant changes were within. One morning, as they watched the sunrise paint the sky in breathtaking hues, Zara felt an unfamiliar tightness in her chest. She turned to find Max watching her, his green eyes reflecting the golden light. A jolt of electricity seemed to pass between them, and Zara felt her bioluminescent freckles pulse rapidly. What is this feeling?" she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Lyra, observing the exchange, felt a strange twist in her stomach. Was it concern for her sister, or something else entirely? Max, seeming to sense the shift in atmosphere, cleared his throat. "Right," he said, a bit too loudly. "Today's lesson. Art. Time to get those alien hands dirty with some good old-fashioned human creativity." He led them to a sun-dappled clearing where he had set up easels and an array of paints. "Art," Max explained, squeezing vibrant colors onto palettes, "is how humans express the inexpressible. It's a window into our souls." As they began to paint, guided by Max's patient instructions, the twins found themselves lost in a world of color and emotion. Zara's canvas exploded with bold strokes and passionate hues, while Lyra's took shape in delicate, intricate patterns. Max moved between them, offering encouragement and gentle corrections. When he leaned close to guide Zara's hand, she felt that same electric jolt, stronger this time. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to stand still. Lyra, watching from the corner of her eye, felt an unfamiliar emotion bubbling up inside her. Was this jealousy? The concept was so foreign, so human, that it took her breath away. As the day wore on, the tension between the three of them grew, unspoken but palpable. That night, as they sat around the campfire, Max pulled out his guitar. The melody he played was hauntingly beautiful, filled with a longing that resonated deep within the twins. "This song," Max said softly, "is about love. The most powerful, terrifying, wonderful thing humans ever discovered." Zara and Lyra listened, transfixed. The music seemed to awaken something within them, a hunger for connection they had never known existed. Later, as the twins prepared for bed, Lyra finally broke the silence. "Zara," she said, her voice trembling slightly, I think I'm experiencing emotions I don't understand." Zara nodded, relieved to hear her sister voice the confusion she herself felt. "Me too. It's like there's a storm inside me. When Max is near, when he smiles at me, I feel alive," Lyra finished, a hint of sadness in her tone. "You feel truly alive." The sisters looked at each other, suddenly aware of the vast gulf that had opened between them. For the first time in their lives, they were experiencing something they couldn't share. The next few days were a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Zara found herself seeking out Max's company, thrilling at every accidental touch, every shared laugh. Lyra withdrew into herself, throwing herself into increasingly challenging survival tasks as if trying to outrun her feelings. Max, for his part, seemed both drawn to and hesitant around Zara. One moment he would be teaching her to dance, their bodies moving in perfect sync. The next he would pull away, a shadow of guilt crossing his features. It all came to a head one stormy night. The trio had taken shelter in a cave, the sound of rain drumming against the rocks outside. The close quarters and charged atmosphere were almost unbearable. Finally, Zara couldn't take it anymore. "Max," she blurted out, her bioluminescence pulsing rapidly, "I need to know. These feelings I have for you, is this love?" The cave fell silent save for the echo of her words. Lyra felt as if the ground had dropped out from beneath her. Max's expression was a battlefield of emotions. "Zara," he said softly, "what you're feeling, it's real, it's beautiful." But he trailed off, his eyes filled with a pain that seemed ancient. "But what?" Zara pressed, moving closer to him. Max took a deep breath. "But I'm not what you think I am. I'm not really here." The twins stared at him in confusion. "What do you mean?" Lyra asked, finding her voice at last. Max's form seemed to flicker for a moment, like a hologram losing power. "I'm an ally," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "A caretaker program left behind to preserve human knowledge and experience. I'm as real as my creators could make me, with all the memories and emotions of a human. But in the end, I'm just a very advanced simulation." The revelation hit Zara and Lyra like a physical blow. All this time, the human who had taught them to feel, to live, to love, wasn't human at all. "Why?" Zara choked out, tears streaming down her face for the first time in her life. "Why didn't you tell us?" Max's holographic hand reached out, stopping just short of touching her cheek. "Because you needed to experience it all without preconceptions. To truly understand what it means to be human, you had to believe you were interacting with one." As the storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil within the cave, the trio grappled with the implications of this revelation. The lines between reality and simulation, between genuine emotion and programmed responses, blurred beyond recognition. But even as their world seemed to crumble around them, a new understanding began to take shape. The feelings they had developed, for Earth, for life, for each other, were real regardless of their source. As the night wore on, Zara, Lyra, and the being they knew as Max began to talk. Really talk with a depth of honesty and emotion none of them had ever experienced before. They laughed, they cried, they raged against the unfairness of the universe. And in doing so, they discovered the true heart of humanity, the ability to find meaning, connection, and love, even in the face of impossible odds. Little did they know, this newfound understanding would soon be put to the ultimate test. For as they bared their souls to each other, a signal was beaming across the vastness of space, a signal that would bring their time on Earth to a dramatic and dangerous conclusion. The final challenge, the true test of everything they had learned about being human, was rapidly approaching, and the fate of not one, but two civilizations hung in the balance. The looming threat. As dawn broke, casting a pale light into the cave, Zara, Lyra, and Max sat in contemplative silence. The night's revelations had shaken them to their core, but in the cold light of day, they found themselves facing an even greater challenge. A soft beeping from the twins' long-forgotten communication device shattered the quiet. Lyra reached for it with trembling hands, her eyes widening as she read the incoming message. "It's from the Celestial Concordat," she whispered, her voice tight with tension. They're coming. Our mission time is up." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. In the whirlwind of experiences and emotions of the past months, they had almost forgotten the original purpose of their visit to Earth. Max's holographic form flickered, his expression grave. What exactly does that mean? What will they do when they arrive? The twins exchanged a look of guilt and fear. It was Zora who finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Our mission, it wasn't just to learn from humanity. We were sent to assess whether Earth could be harvested. Harvested." Max's voice was sharp, a hint of his old authority breaking through. Lyra nodded, unable to meet his eyes. "Our civilization is dying. We've lost the spark of creativity, of passion. The Concordat believed that by absorbing the essence of humanity, its art, its music, its very life force, we could reignite our own. But that would mean..." Max trailed off, the implications sinking in. "The complete assimilation of Earth and any remaining humans," Zara finished, her voice breaking. "The destruction of everything we've come to love." The cave fell into stunned silence. The weight of their betrayal, unintentional though it may have been, pressed down on them like a physical force. Max paced the cave, his holographic form passing through stalactites as if they weren't there. "How long do we have?" Lyra checked the device again. 3 days, maybe 4. "Then we have work to do," Max said, his voice filled with a determination that cut through their despair. "We might not be able to stop them from coming, but we can make damn sure they don't destroy what's left of humanity." Over the next few days, the trio worked tirelessly. Max guided them through the process of accessing hidden caches of human technology, defenses left behind by the last of humanity before they retreated into their virtual world. As they worked, they talked. The twins shared everything they knew about the Concordat's plans, their own civilization's decline, and the desperate measures their leaders were willing to take. "It's not just Earth at stake," Lyra explained as she helped Max reactivate an ancient satellite defense system. "If the Concordat goes through with this, it will change us forever. We'll lose the last shreds of our own identity, becoming nothing more than parasites feeding off the achievements of others." Zara nodded, her hands deep in the guts of a long-dormant energy shield generator. "We thought we were coming here to save our people, but now you understand that some prices are too high to pay," Max finished. His holographic hand passed through Zara's shoulder in a gesture of comfort. Though she couldn't feel it physically, the emotion behind it was real enough. As the deadline approached, they faced a moral dilemma that tested everything they had learned about being human. Could they betray their own people to save Earth? Was it right to sacrifice one civilization to preserve another? The night before the Concordat's arrival, they gathered around the campfire one last time. The mood was somber, the weight of their decision heavy on their shoulders. "Whatever happens tomorrow," Max said, his voice soft but filled with conviction, "know that you've already saved humanity. You've kept its spirit alive in yourselves." Zara and Lyra looked at each other, then at Max. In that moment, they knew what they had to do. "We'll stand with Earth," Zara declared, her bioluminescence pulsing with determination. Lyra nodded, reaching out to take her sister's hand. It's the human thing to do. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, a massive ship appeared in the sky. The Celestial Concordat had arrived, ready to claim their prize. But they would find no easy victory here. For standing against them were 2 aliens who had discovered their own humanity and the echoes of a civilization that refused to fade quietly into the night. The final battle for Earth, and for the soul of 2 civilizations, was about to begin, and in this moment of truth, Zara and Lyra would discover just how human they had truly become. A new beginning. The Celestial Concordat's ship loomed over the landscape, its sleek design a stark contrast to the wild beauty of Earth. Zara and Lyra stood side by side, their bioluminescence pulsing with a mix of fear and determination. Behind them, Max's holographic form flickered, a ghostly guardian of humanity's last stand. A beam of light shot down from the ship, materializing into a tall, imposing figure. Supreme Counselor Vex, leader of the Concordat, surveyed the scene with cold, calculating eyes. "Zara, Lyra," Vex's voice boomed, "your mission is complete. We are prepared to begin the harvesting process." Zara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Counselor Vex, we cannot allow that to happen. We've learned that what you propose is wrong. It would destroy not just Earth, but the very essence of who we are." Vex's expression hardened. "You overstep your authority, young one. The decision has been made. Earth's essence will revitalize our dying civilization." "At what cost?" Lyra interjected, moving to stand beside her sister. "We came here seeking a solution, but what we found was so much more. Humanity isn't just a resource to be consumed. It's a way of living, of feeling, of connecting with the universe." Vex's eyes narrowed. "You've been corrupted by this primitive world. Stand aside, or face the consequences of your betrayal." As if on cue, more Concordat soldiers began to materialize around them. The twins exchanged a glance, a lifetime of unspoken communication passing between them in an instant. They knew what they had to do. "Now, Max," Zara shouted. The air crackled with energy as hidden defense systems roared to life. Energy shields sprang up, cutting off the Concordat's transportation beams. Automated drones launched from concealed silos, engaging the surprised alien forces. Chaos erupted as the Concordat soldiers found themselves facing a resistance they hadn't expected. Zara and Lyra moved in perfect sync, their months of survival training paying off as they outmaneuvered their technologically superior but unprepared opponents. Max's holographic form expanded, projecting itself across the battlefield. His voice echoed from hidden speakers, reciting poetry, playing music, sharing the full spectrum of human emotion and creativity. The Concordat soldiers faltered, overwhelmed by the onslaught of sensations and ideas. In the midst of the battle, Vex cornered Zara. "You fool," he snarled. "You would doom our entire civilization for this chaos." Zara stood her ground, her eyes blazing with a very human defiance. "We're not dooming our people, Vex. We're saving them. This is what we've been missing: the struggle, the passion, the willingness to fight for what we believe in." As they fought, something extraordinary began to happen. The Concordat soldiers, exposed to the raw power of human culture and the twins' unwavering conviction, started to change. Their movements became less robotic, more fluid. Expressions of wonder, confusion, and even joy flickered across their faces. Lyra, noticing the shift, called out to her sister, "Zara, it's working. They're feeling it too." Vex, seeing his forces wavering, roared in frustration. He lunged at Zara, energy weapon raised. But before he could strike, his own lieutenant stepped in, blocking the attack. "Enough, Counselor," the lieutenant said, her voice trembling with newfound emotion. "Can't you feel it? This is what we've been missing." All around them, the battle was coming to a strange, beautiful halt. Concordat soldiers lowered their weapons, many of them weeping openly as they experienced the full range of human emotion for the first time. Vex, outnumbered and outmaneuvered, slumped in defeat. "What have you done?" he whispered. Max's holographic form approached, somehow more solid and real than ever before. "They've reminded you of who you really are," he said softly. "Not conquerors, not parasites, but beings capable of growth, of change, of love." In the days that followed, a new alliance was forged. The celestial Concordat, forever changed by their encounter with Earth, pledged to protect what remained of humanity's legacy. Plans were made to slowly, carefully reawaken the humans from their virtual slumber, to rebuild a world that balanced technology with natural beauty. Zara and Lyra, once outsiders, found themselves at the heart of this new beginning. They worked tirelessly, bridging the gap between their people and the reawakening humans, teaching both sides the lessons they had learned about what it truly meant to be alive. And Max, the AA who had carried the torch of humanity for so long, found himself evolving in ways his creators had never imagined. The love he had developed for Zara, the bond he shared with both twins, sparked something new in his programming. He became a true bridge between organic and artificial life, a guardian of the best qualities of both. As the first group of humans emerged from their virtual worlds, blinking in the sunlight of a real dawn, Zara, Lyra, and Max stood together on a hilltop overlooking the renewing earth. "What happens now?" Lyra asked, her hand intertwined with her sister's. Zara smiled, looking out at the limitless horizon. Now we live, we love, we create. We become the best versions of ourselves, human, alien, and everything in between. Max's holographic hand rested on Zara's shoulder, and this time, through some miracle of evolution and technology, she could almost feel it. "Together," he said softly. As the sun rose on this new era, the trio knew that the greatest adventure, the adventure of truly living, was just beginning. They had saved humanity, not by preserving it in amber, but by allowing it to grow, to change, to spread its indomitable spirit across the stars. And in doing so, they had discovered the most important truth of all, that the essence of humanity wasn't contained in any one species or civilization. It was a spark that lived in all those who dared to feel deeply, to strive greatly, and to love without boundaries. The story of Earth, of the celestial concordat, of Zara, Lyra, and Max, would be told for generations across the galaxy. Not as a tale of conquest or loss, but as a testament to the enduring power of connection, creativity, and the unquenchable desire to reach for the stars while keeping one's feet firmly planted in the rich soil of a living world. As new voices joined the song of Earth, as art and music and love blossomed anew, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath in wonder. For in this small corner of the cosmos, something truly remarkable had been born, a future as infinite and bright as the human spirit itself.